It's the Political Brown Kid here, and I am back again. Boy, oh boy, I tell you, I think I am cursed. I think the universe has cursed me, but we'll move past that. That's another topic for another day, maybe for another channel, right? So, what I want to talk about is just the fact that and again, I'm trying to pick the women's brains here. Fellas, too, if you want to chime in, please chime in. I'm just trying to figure out, and I see that why a lot of women are single as well, because they just keep rotating dudes in and out, rotating dudes in and out. What I mean by that is this. They don't give men a chance. I just got off the phone and I'm going to talk about this experience. They do not give men a chance. The first sign of a quote unquote red flag, and I hate that term. I swear to God, I've heard that term more times in the past 2-3 years than I've heard in my whole life. I don't even hear them football as much as I hear it here on the internet and in the real world that women use. So basically this, I've just was talking to a young female I met online, of course, once again, because you can't meet them out in public. At least I can't. So met this female. So she liked me. I liked her. Well, I liked her first. She liked me. We start talking. She calls me all the time, wanting to talk. Okay, yeah, I like the conversation, man. You have a good time. Boom, 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 boom. Talking a lot. So earlier this week, I sent her a message. We were going back and forth. So then I said something to the effect of, because she was like, I really like talking to you. You have great conversation. You know, I missed talking to you yesterday, so hopefully we'll talk again tonight or something like that. So I was like, okay, well, hopefully you still feel the same, because my humor can be a little crude. And that's all I put. I just said my humor can be a little crude. So maybe once you see that side of me, you'll really perk up or something like that. I don't know. But I was just trying to be funny. And once again, failure in text messages texting is just, that's why I don't really like to do it. So then when I sent that message, about an hour later, she replies and she's like, that's a red flag if you like crude humor. I don't like any negativity in my life. Everything has to be positive. And so then she was just like, so boom. And it was, like I said, it was a long text. And then she was just basically was saying she don't like negativity in her life. And that's concerning that my humor is crude. And so then I said, okay, well, let me go onto the app that we met at. And sure enough, she deleted me from the app. So we were no longer matched. So I had already texted her back to say, well, you know, when I say crude, I wasn't meaning like it's negative, taking jabs at people, but I was just saying sometimes, you know, I can laugh at certain things, or maybe my humor, you know, it may have some harsh language in it or something. But I was just kind of like, but I'm trying to figure this out. Maybe if we talk and you figure out what my humor is, and then you'll see. But I said, but I thought that was extreme that you now unmatched with me. So then she replied back and was like, oh, well, if that's what you meant, okay, I'm glad you clarified that. And then that's what she said. And then she was like, I'll give you a call later, which she did. And we talked. And so I was just and so during the conversation that we just had, and I was saying, yeah, so my concern is that a lot of times, and I told her that, and this is exactly what I said. And I was hesitant to say it. So I was kind of trying to pick my words. So I said, please don't take this the wrong way. Please don't take this as an attack on you. But and so I said, but what my point is, or the thing that I've noticed is that women are quick, I guess because y'all have so many options, y'all are quick to write a man off over any one red flag that y'all deem as a red flag, whether it be him showing up 2 minutes late, is that a red flag? Or whether it's like beatings and, you know, and just heinous, you know, bank robberies and stuff. What are we talking about? Like when y'all say red flags, y'all are just talking about any negative behavior, no matter how minor. And so I was just like, to write somebody off, I think it's kind of wrong, because now you're going to have to train another person to, you know, you're going to continuously go through a cycle of men because they exhibit one thing that you don't like. And so then she fires back, well, now I am offended. So she was like, I did take offense to that comment because you have to go with your red flags. Y'all don't know what we've been through. You know, you have to take it. Have you looked at it from the woman's perspective? You know, and why she deems things a red flag and why she chooses to walk away. And so I said, I understand that. And I said, I understand that. But I said, but at the same time, if you don't give your life a chance, then we have red flags that we see in women all the time, but we don't just write people off because of a red flag. People have flags in their life. And I said, for example, you're not going to write off your mother or your children or your siblings because they exhibit a quote unquote red flag towards you. And I said, it seems as though we quickly wipe our hands from people that we don't really like. And so she was like, well, no, your family is something different. And I said, it is different, but it's not. Because you'll put up the level of love is the level of, tolerance that people have. If you have a lot of love for people, you have a high tolerance for stuff and you'll give them a chance. And I said, I understand you don't know me from Adam. We just really met. But at the same time, if women are just checking off from guys, nope, that's a red flag. Because I've had women on the dating app, and I told you guys this. Like, I asked for the number probably like after one or two texts, and then they'll just unmatch. And I've had a girl tell me, no, that's a red flag. Because this girl that I finally went out with, because I texted with her back and forth. And I'm like, well, how long do I go back and forth in these text messages? And you really have to let them dictate the flow. And then she confirmed it. Yeah, you asked for my number too quick. That's a red flag. And I'm like, well, how is it a red flag? I'm just trying to understand. So my point is this, and I'm going to use this analogy. If you owned a business, because if you own a business and you have an employee and the employee makes a mistake, if you deem that as a red flag and just start firing people over every mistake that they make that you deem a red flag, you think about it. Now you have to fire that person. You have to go through the firing process, the termination process of this employee. Now you have to you have to put out a job announcement to replace this employee. You have to interview people. Then you have to put somebody else in their seat. And then if that person makes a mistake, then you wash, rinse, and repeat. You're constantly firing people instead of just saying to that person that messed up to say, well, did you learn anything? Well, have you grown from this experience? And see if they have learned or grown from it. So if you have an employee that is failing to check the cash register and make sure the cash register balances. And if they tell you, well, I really don't know why it's coming up. And if you help them figure it out, trust me, then that employee knows what mistakes they're making. And if they're sincere and if they really want to keep their job and if they're happy there, they're going to make that effort to say, I'm not going to mess that up again. And so they've learned from that mistake. But if you just keep, quote unquote, firing people because of something that you exhibit could hurt your feelings, that goes to show, just like how all these women want to talk about come healed, that you're not quote unquote healed yourself, because you're projecting an outcome on one individual because other individuals did that to you. And I see it a lot. I'm telling you, I know so many women, and I hate to say this, I only deal with Black women. I see it a lot with Black women. I see it a lot. I don't hear, and I know a few other races, I don't hear them talk this way. I told y'all about the little crazy ex that I had when I was young. And don't give her sympathy because she has an illness, because she is the rudest, meanest little creature walking planet Earth. She calls me, yeah, my daughter don't speak to me anymore, and I'm fine with that. Yeah, so-and-so I wrote so-and-so off because, And I'm just kind of like, listen, I'm like, well, why? And the excuse just doesn't even make sense. And trust me, she's written me off before. And it was just kind of like, wow, we hadn't spoken in a year. And then they pop back up like nothing happened. They don't talk about it. And that's also, too, like, how are we supposed to move forward if you don't want to talk about what we just argued about? Even if it was a year ago, you're the one that chose to terminate communications and then just pop back up like nothing's happened. These are the frustrations that I feel when dealing with these women. And this is why a lot of times too, I get so jealous at my ex a lot, because I know that she's somewhere, and because it was a very amicable person for the most part. She was a good person. She just chose to walk away. So what I'm saying is this: I know that she's having a field day because men aren't going to give y'all the headache that y'all give us. Women, they, especially if you're an average guy like myself. I'm an average guy, average looking, average, period. Financially, I may be above average, but when you're living on your own and you're living in a expensive city, you might as well be poor. You might as well be mixed in with the common folk, because I'm not rolling in dough. So what I'm saying is this: when you're an average guy, this is the treatment that you get. They talk to you, they deal with you for a hot second, and as soon as you exhibit something that they don't like, they cut tail and run. I don't make this up. This is what I go through. And it goes to show you that I'm not hot enough for a woman to say, I'm going to give them a second chance or a third chance or fourth chance and so forth. They just cut tail and run like this female did with me. She unmatched with me, but now she's back. But it still is kind of like, but for me, my heart isn't even in it. Because my heart is, I'm just really talking to her, to be honest with y'all, the same way I talk to my old crazy ex, the one I keep telling y'all about with the disease, the debilitating condition. She's a horrible person, my ex. But I talk to her because, unfortunately, my male buddies, they're married. They have their own lives. They can't babysit me and entertain me. And I'm not asking them to. So we only get together once every 6 weeks, so, to that effect. And then if we miss that, then it's once every 12 weeks. So I talk to her to have people to talk to keep from talking to myself, pretty much. Just like Christopher Williams said. And so this new female right here, she's somebody that I thought would, make something happen with. But after her actions, it's like, no, really, I'm just talking to you because you're somebody to hang out with. The summer weather's coming. Maybe you'll be interested in doing some things outside. If you allow me to get a chance to, to have a little intimate moment, I'll possibly do that. But I couldn't see myself having a future with somebody who writes people off so quickly the way these females are writing. At least they're writing me off. I don't know about you guys. But that's what I wanted to say. I'm going to stop rambling at this point. Definitely, I want to hear feedback, particularly women. If you guys have any women have any feedback, I would definitely love to hear that. Maybe you can provide a perspective that I'm not understanding. Don't be offended if I rebut back with you in the comment section. I'll try to keep it civilized. I try not to be rude. But I'll definitely want to hear your feedback. And guys, too, if you have feedback on the subject, I would definitely love to hear it as well. But once again, this is the Political Brown Kid. Take care.